Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is embarking on a series of shuttle diplomacy missions between Russia and the Ukraine. It's on a scale that hasn't been seen really since Kissinger about 50 years ago or so. But he's saying that a temporary ceasefire is close and is strong chance of getting it. They're saying that a permanent ceasefire and an end to hostilities is, well, the elephant in the room. It's possible. Nobody wants to talk about it just yet. They want to get the temporary one done first, and then they have to start talking seriously about a permanent end. And they're already talking about the fact that Russia will gain territory and that the Ukraine are going to have to accept that that territory has gone and that they're not going to join NATO. It's just a non-starter as far as the Russians are concerned. But that's yet to be decided. It's not, of course, up to the Ukraine whether to join NATO or not. And, of course, if any one single member of NATO says no, then no, it is. And I think that one country will probably be America. So at that point, if, for example, Putin says, OK, I agree to these terms so long as there's no NATO in Ukraine, and then Zelensky keeps going, no, we must join NATO, then at that point everything shifts because it won't be seen as a Russian aggression. It will be the Ukraine continuation. It starts getting very subtle. However, amongst these missions that he's talking about with Witkoff, I do like what he said about Keir Starmer, because let's just say he wasn't entirely kind. He slapped him down a little bit. He's talking about what he calls in general US allies in Europe, but specifically Starmer's coalition of the willing, as he calls it, this interventionist stance. And he said it was a posture and a pose which he said was deeply simplistic of someone who's not aware of all the implications. Basically saying, Starmer, you're an idiot. Starmer, you have no idea what you're talking about. Please shut up and let us get on with it. He also accused Starmer of pretending to be Winston Churchill. He said, and the notion that Russia was going to march across Europe like the Germans in 1939 was naive and dangerous. He said the whole proposition was preposterous. It's not going to happen. And Starmer needs to realise that. Wow. Starmer's trying to chum up to the Americans, and the Americans have seen through him and seen him for what he is. A preposterous little man, out of his depth and completely at odds with the sentiment of everyone else in Europe. After all, we've already discussed in a previous video that this coalition of the willing is now the coalition of the unwilling. And if at best he can manage 10,000 troops, dearie me, it was all going so well for him when he thought he was going to have his little war. Well, his little war looks like it isn't going to happen. States are refusing to commit men or material. They don't want to send their men to die. Starmer does. He wants to bathe in the blood of young British soldiers. You can understand why. It'll be his Maggie moment, won't it? He can come back and go, look at me, I'm a hero. And we won't. We'll just look at him and think, you're a stupid, dangerous fool who will kill people and think it's a price worth paying. But you won't send your own kids, will you? So there we go. Let's all say thanks very much, Steve Witkoff. You have summed up Starmer perfectly. Thanks a lot. Bye.